So there are three major types of control that we can do. The most basic one is just cycling on and off. So that's pretty simple. We say we need some hot water valve to be open. Now it's too warm in here, close the hot water valve. Now it's too cold in here, open the hot water valve. So it's very simple. You just turn it on and off. And it's saying that you get all of something when it's on, you get none of it when it's off. This is not really necessary anymore. It's how things used to have to be done. Now that we have direct digital control, it has eliminated the necessity of systems that are just an open or a closed valve. The problem is there's excessive wear on components because often you have to turn it on, off, on, off, on, off, and that's called short cycling. If you could increase that time between cycles, then you can operate at a greater frequency, but then at a greater efficiency, but then there's going to be dramatic temperature swings. So the other problem with cycling is that you're going to get whichever element you're controlling, you're going to get a lot of it and then not much of it, and you're going to really cycle through. And if that is something like temperature, that's going to be detectable by the occupant. So on-off cycling is not really the best type of control for a lot of the elements that we're controlling in a modern building automation system. So proportional control or modulation is nice, and it's commonly used. So here the energy or whatever needs the element that you're controlling can be delivered at a rate that is proportional to what is needed. So if you need less chilling, then you can flow less of the chilled water, for example. So this is better than cycling, but it does mean that you're going to be sort of chasing a set point. So in order to do this modulation or this proportional control, it will overshoot the set point a little bit, and then you will undershoot it a little bit, and then overshoot it a little less, undershoot it a little bit less again, and then eventually settle on a set point that you need. And staging is another a type of control. Is called staging, and this is often used. And this is used. This is a way of meeting your maximum capacity, but then to meet your base load, you would not have to use all of the equipment. So basically, instead of one large unit, you install a series of smaller units. That way, you're never underusing a large unit. You can, if you don't need a lot of the element that you're controlling, you can just use one or two of the small units. If you ever need to be at maximum, then you can turn all of those units on. But you don't usually, so you would just kind of sequence through. So use unit A and C, then use unit B and D, and all of that equipment has a duty cycle that is lower than it would be if you had spent that same amount of money on one large unit that has a massive duty cycle and it's always being used. So that's common in the HVAC world, especially with chillers.